Hello class, how are you? Good, me too. Alright, well happy Tuesday afternoon. Alright, well today we're going to continue our work on elections. We're going to do a lot of reading today. I know you're pretty excited about that. I want you guys to get out your notebooks and pens so we can get going. Alright, so our swabats, S2, swabats, plural, are on the board. And I want you to write them down. The first one, the student will be able to demonstrate knowledge of the presidential election process from beginning to end. And the second one will be read and comprehend a reading passage on presidential election process. All right? So they're related, but they are two different swabats. So make sure you have those written down. All right. So you guys are going to get a reading packet today. I have them. I have it right here for you. And you guys are going to be working with this packet the whole day. I'm going to hand them out to you. In fact, Mohammed, will you hand these out when I get going on directions? Thank you. All right. And I don't want you to read it right away. I just want you to look at it. I want you to look at the first page, let your eyes run down the page. What do you notice about it? Some things to think about. And then I'm putting questions on the board. And as a class, we will go over the questions. All right. So first, take a minute or two just to look at the paper. Obviously, when you see words, you will probably read some of them. The goal right now is not to read the whole thing. It's just to look at it. Flip the pages, look at each page. Does anything stand out to you, and so forth. All right, now that you guys have finished looking at the pages, I'm going to project some questions on the board, and we're going to go over this as a whole class. All right, so what we're doing now is pre-reading work. Reading is a process. Sometimes when you sit down to read for pleasure, you might not go through these steps. But when you were reading to get some information, to learn something, when you're reading for an academic purpose, for school purposes, it's important to be prepared for the reading, to be active in the reading, and to think about the reading. So there are 3 steps to the process of pre-reading, which we're doing now. You'll have some reading work during reading, and then we'll do some wrap-ups, some post-reading, so you have a chance to digest, to understand, to comprehend, and get all the information you can out of the reading. Okay? So the questions here are part of our pre-reading. So we'll do these as a class, so please feel free to volunteer. If I don't have volunteers, I'll just call on you. All right, what is the title of this piece of writing? Anyone want to volunteer? Yes, Fulan. The U.S. elections for middle school students. Okay, so who wants to tell me what they think this is about? Well, yes, it is about U.S. elections for middle school students. What makes it unique by adding the title middle school students? Right, it might be easier to understand. Politics is hard. Yeah. So I got this handout from your teacher, from your social studies teacher. So this is not just for ELL students, but it's for all students in middle school. Other schools use this. Other students use this handout. This is really good information and something you will be able to comprehend. Okay. What type of writing is it? Now, we've talked about different types of writing, different types of text. So what are the types of writings or texts out there? Poems. Yep. Short stories. Yep. Fiction. Okay. So what type of writing is this? Is it a poem? No. Short story? No. All right. Is it a narrative? Have you written a narrative in your English class? Yeah. So is it a narrative? No. All right. Well, we'll come back to that one. It's okay that we don't have the answer right now. All right. So what do you notice about the handout? It looks long. Okay. What else do you notice about it? Yeah, there are some words in dark type. Yeah, when you see it like that, we can also call it bold type, right? So yes, there are words in bold type. Okay. When something's in bold type, what do you think it means? Yeah, very good. That it's important. Okay. And do you know what that is called when you have something in bold type and other information under it? Yeah, like books are broken into chapters, and sometimes academic writing or pieces of writing or papers that you will read, information pieces, will have headings, titles, or subheadings. So when you have the bold here, we're going to call them subheadings because it relates to the title up here, but there's more information. So under each subheading is information that relates to that part of the larger piece. Okay, so a subheading tells you what's in this next section of writing, whether it's a couple sentences or 8 paragraphs. That's what you'll have under the subheading, information about that. And of course, the subheading does relate to the overall title of U.S. elections. Okay, does that make sense? All right, do you notice anything new in the reading you may learn about in this handout? Yes, excellent. The Electoral College. Yeah, we have not talked about that. And it is an important part of the election process. So that's something new that will be in our reading today. Okay? All right. And the last one, are you worried about having to read the whole thing? All of you? No? Yes? All right. You might have more than one answer. All right. So I wrote down your answers here. I'm going to put this away for now, but we will come back to that. All right. So you're going to stay in your same groups here. And what I want you to do will be to look for some certain words. Do you remember signal words? Yeah, however, sometimes tells you to think of it differently, right? That's a signal word. And there are different types. This type of signal word is a sequence. Who knows what a sequence is? Yeah, what you do first, what you do second, what you do third. So sequence words, what are some of those? Firstly, secondly, third, thirdly, right. So for example, there's a sequence for doing something, right? If I'm going to make an omelet, the first thing I do is get out the eggs. The second thing I do is crack the eggs. Next, I will mix the eggs, and then I will pour the eggs in a hot pan. After that, I'll add some ingredients like mushrooms, okay, and so on. So there's a sequence. All right. So what I want you to do is you're going to skim through the paper, the handout, and you're going to circle. It's okay to write on these. You all have pens. So you can circle or highlight. I'm giving you a highlight and a pen at each table. So you should all have your own pen, and there are 2 highlighters, so you guys can share if you want. So mark on your paper. It is okay to mark on what you read. So circle or highlight any of the signal words that you find. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. All right, so we're going to come back to that. That's important to have it set up that way. All right, now you'll notice on the handouts I gave you, first I need to put you guys in groups. I totally forgot. All right, we're going to get new groups. So everybody stand up. Stand up. I'm going to go stand by a table, and when I call your name, you are in that group. All right, so I'll go over here. All right, so that's group A, that's group B, etc. In the middle of your table, you guys will see the letter A, B, C, and D. So those are your groups. Now you'll notice on the reading I've given you that on the left-hand side, you'll see A, you'll see a B. That's your reading selection. So I want to go around and make sure that you guys know which is which. What I would like you guys to do is mark the beginning of your reading selection and the end of the reading selection for your group. So you can use a pen or a highlighter. That is fine. You can put end, you can put beginning and end. So that is what you're responsible for reading right now. I'll go around and make sure you all do that. Okay, so now you guys will have some questions that you have to answer. So I'm going to put the questions on the board. And the post-it notes that are out on your table here, the little yellow post-it notes that you guys have. Oh, you guys are going to go and put the questions. You're going to take your questions and write the answers here. So the first one, what do you think the selection is about? And you guys can do this as a group, but you're each going to have your own post-it notes with the answers on there. If you can't agree on one answer, it's fine if you guys each have your own. So number 2, what do you already know about the topic? You can brainstorm and share. I want you guys to collaborate. I want you to work together on this one. And 3, list any questions you may have. You can use a post-it for each question, and I want you to fill them up. All right? So I'm going to go around the room and check on that. Excellent. All right, you guys are doing a good job here. Now, I want to show you guys what my book looks like. Post-it notes. Post-it notes. I have writing in my book. I have marks in the margins. When I read, not for pleasure necessarily, but when I read for research, when I'm trying to become a better teacher and I'm reading books on the topic, I'm always writing in my books. Now, of course, when you borrow a book from a library or from a school with school property or someone else's book, you can't write in it. Don't ever do that. Treat the book very nicely. But Post-it notes work really well for that. So use Post-it notes. All right. So I'm a big fan of the Post-it notes. All right. So now in your assigned groups, you guys are going to each read silently. All of you are going to be responsible for reading your section. Section A, Section B, etc. All right. So take a couple minutes to read. I'm going to walk around as you guys do this. All right, so now you guys have read the selection. You have some more questions to answer. And these, you guys are going to answer in your groups, not on Post-its, on regular paper. While you can answer them together, I want you to each write your own copy on your own piece of paper because you will need this. You're going to walk around the room with your answers. So you write the question and the answers. So the questions you will answer, there are 5. What was the main idea of your selection? Do you remember the main idea? Yep, what it's about. Number 2, how do you know this? When you are going to answer how do you know this, you're going to write information that supports the first answer. All right? Number 3, what are at least 2 important pieces of information from your selection? All right, think about this. You're going to be telling other people about your selection. They are also going to tell you information about their selection. Group A, you didn't read Group B, you didn't read Group C, you didn't read Group D, right? But do you want to know what their sections were about? Yeah. So make sure that the information you're giving your classmates is thorough and it's important. So where I wrote at least 2, you can have 5. All right? So look at your answers from the prediction questions, the ones you did on the Post-it. What is it about? And what do you know? And any questions you can have. Were any of your prediction, when you asked number 1, was it correct? Yes? No? Maybe a little bit of both? All right? So you can put that information on here too. And then what new information did you learn? Now number 5 may be similar to number 3, but if number 5 is a good place to put any additional information that you hadn't covered in any of these other questions. Okay? So I'm going to give you some time to do that. I'm going to go around and listen and talk to you guys. I want you to discuss these answers. I want to hear an active classroom. All right. All right, so now I gave each of you a large, giant Post-it notes from the flip chart. All right, I want you guys to make your paper look like this. Document camera displays Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. And you guys will write your subheading category. And you will write information. Okay? So the group will have, each flip chart is going to look exactly like this right now. And then one person from Group A will remain here. And then one person from Group A will go to B, one will go to C, one to D, and so on. So you guys will all have different representatives, one for each section, at a table. So I'm just going to have you guys move all to the right, all the way through. Skip table, skip table, skip table. And then you guys will share the information with the questions you did that. So you're going to tell the group what your selection was about, what was the main idea, information that supports that, at least 2 important pieces of information, and any other new information you learned. And you're going to write that on the flip chart that corresponds with your subheadings. So make sure you put the subheadings. And I want the subheadings in order too. So you can use the reading, the whole packet, to make sure you guys put these in the correct order. So it should look just like that. All right, are there any questions so far? All right, go ahead. All right, so I heard you guys sharing information. This is excellent. So hopefully by now you guys have a pretty good idea of what this whole packet was about. And you didn't even have to read the whole thing yet, did you? And I did say yet. You might have to read it later. Okay. All right. But how do you feel about your information that you've received today? Yeah? All right. Let's put a couple of these flip charts on the board. They should be the same, but let's actually just post them all along the wall over here. And we're going to kind of all go as a class up here and look at them, compare notes, and see if there are any differences. If there are, we'll discuss those differences, okay? Oh, these look great. Okay. Anything different? No, they all look pretty good. All right. I'm proud of you guys. You guys have some really good information up here. Okay. So now you guys are going to skim the whole reading. What is skimming? Reading it really fast? Not exactly. You're going to go through each paragraph. Good way to skim it is maybe to read a first sentence of the paragraph, or just kind of go through with information, things like that. All right. So remember the answers that we did at the very beginning. I'm going to pull them up here for you. Okay. All right. What is the title of the piece of writing? What do you think the handout is about? What type of writing is it? What do you notice about it? So again, you guys can use Post-its. It is your handout, so if you want to mark on it or highlight it, you can do that as well. So when you're skimming the reading, you're going to go ahead and look for any information that supports your answers here. What is the title? That's pretty self-explanatory. So really, what do you think the handout's about? What type of writing? The subheadings and anything new. All right. So go ahead and skim the reading for all of this information. I'm going to go around and check in with you guys as you do this. Okay. So you guys have done a great job here. Now we've got the title. You have, and what type of writing? That was one question that we hadn't answered before. So let's go back to number 3. What type of writing is it? Information piece. Excellent. Yes, because you're getting new information. It's not narrative. It's not a first-person story. It's not fiction. Very good. So you got an information piece. Now you understand the sections and bold type. Now, you guys over here have the Electoral College. Let me check in with you. Can anyone give me an idea who didn't have to read the whole section what the Electoral College is? Yeah, that's good. And you understand this. You looked at the subheading. You guys shared information. So this is working really well. All right. So the next thing you guys are going to do, you're going to put your handouts away. Okay, so put those out of sight. I'm going to take information off the board here. And I just had Ahmed hand out these stacks of papers to you. They're upside down because I want to give you directions first. Now I want you to make sure you're going to put the handout back together in the correct order. It's all jumbled up. I even cut up the headings for you too. So that doesn't really help you. You have to put it all together in the right order. Now, as you've skimmed the packet, as you've read parts of the whole packet, you should be able to do this. It's very much a group effort sort of thing here. And there are going to be some clues. Remember, the beginning of class, we were doing the sequencing with signal words. So sometimes that's going to help you. Not all the paragraphs had the signal words. That's true. But I have faith that you guys have done enough with this material over the last couple of weeks that you can put this in the proper order. So I'm going to walk around the room and listen to you as you collaborate, as you work together in putting this back together. All right, so get going on that, and I'm going to come check on you. All right, there were a couple that were a little different. Overall, you guys all had the beginning and you all had the end, but there are some middle parts that were a little different than the other sections. So go ahead and pull out your original handouts and go ahead and make those adjustments. Yeah, and I can see how that was different because the part on during the campaign and the Electoral College kind of didn't matter. Somebody said which order it was in, and I might agree with you a little bit on that. So you guys did a great job reconstructing these. Now, your final piece today is an individual assignment. We've done timelines before, so as a refresher, what's a timeline? Right, we draw the line. Right, and you put things on the timeline. What starts on the left? The first part. What ends? The last part. So you're going to construct a timeline of the process of electing the President of the United States. All right? So you're going to do it from your handout, from your reading. And I want each of you to have at minimum, the very least, 8 points on your timeline. and they must be in the correct order. Okay, so you have a rubric here, which will be the grading scale. Yes, you're doing this for a grade. And to get the full 10 points, it's 20-point assignment. To get the full 10 points, you can see that you need to have a minimum of 8 points on the timeline. And to get the rest of the 10 points, all 8 points have to be in the correct sequence, the correct order. All right? So if you have 2 out of order, you will see here that you'll get 9 points here, but you got the 10 points, so it will be 19 points, okay? Which is a really good grade. So that's your project, that's your assignment, and you guys have the rest of class to finish that up. You will turn them in at the end of the class, so make sure your name is on them. Any questions? Yes, you can use your handouts. Yes, you can use any of your notes or Post-its. Okay, excellent. We'll get going. All right, thank you very much, and I'll be checking in on you.